Hello everybody, I'm Adam Costandi, and today I'm going to show you the differences between the new system and the old system for the Foundry VTT v1.1 update. And most of the changes you're going to see here today are mostly with the characters, with the exorcists. Just the exorcists for now. So I'm going to show you the differences between the two, and I'll show you an exorcist sheet from the old and an exorcist sheet from the new. So on the left side here, we have the new exorcist. This is where you're going to have all the new stuff for the exorcists. And on the right side, you're going to see the old version, and this is what the old sheet looks like. First off, just from style and visualization alone, we have reduced the amount of borders and the amount of space that this takes up. So now we've condensed the sheet so that more information is shown to you in less space. Now you have it so that with your levels, they're now different. We don't have level 1, level 2, level 3. Now we have your cat levels set based on your mission requirements. So if you completed 2 missions, you could just click here and it will then get highlighted. And if you right click, it will then reset you back to cat 0. So if I click this here, I am now cat 1. With our XP and advancement section, we've actually improved this greatly. You can now gain and lose your maxi XP. So if you go here, maxi XP, you see how the checkbox is increased. And in the old version, you do not have that anymore. So I'll set that back to 4. And with losing and gaining EXP, now with this, you have the buttons just separated out like this. Instead of just one simple gain EXP button, you actually have gaining and losing EXP all set in one shot. I will be showing you this end session XP button later because it's going to have to do with the agendas, and the agendas are an important part of that. Something else that we also changed with this new update is we've changed the afflictions and how afflictions work. So first off, when you're on the GM side, the GMs will have a list of afflictions, and if you get an affliction from, let's say, a centipede, they have all the afflictions. They could take that affliction and drag it right onto your sheet. Let's say you want to add an affliction that's not already there. Well, you could click add affliction and a dialog box will pop up. The I'm sad affliction. God, I have depression. And then if you click submit there, it will then add that. And if you go back to here under miscellaneous afflictions, it will then automatically create the item, the I'm sad affliction. So that's how you add afflictions to your sheet now. So for the kit and item section, you could see that there's not much differences between the two. The only things that really changed was that we added an aesthetic change for the like how the text looked, and also we've changed the icon for how the icons look. So right now we actually have the castle logo for these, and before they were just naturally checked boxes. Also, your script will now default to 0 instead of nothing, which was actually an error in the back end. Okay, so for abilities, this actually changed a lot. So before you had a My Agenda section, and you added your abilities and added your items manually. So if I clicked add item here, you would add an item and type it in, bold it yourself, add an ability here, bold it yourself, and then create the agenda that way. Then you would just drag the agenda onto this agenda section and it would just say the name of the agenda. Now the agendas are automated. So if I go to my agendas here and I go to agenda data, let's say I want to be doomed. I will take the, I won't do doomed. Let's do demon. So I'll take the demon agenda and I'll go and I'll drag it over to my sheet. And now you could see that when I drag it over, it automatically adds these agenda tasks and also the agenda abilities. So if I want to pick an ability, I would go to these available ability sections and then find the ability that I want. And then I'll take it and click add ability. So it's important to note that on the old system, the way the blasphemies worked was that you would drag a blasphemy onto your sheet, and that's basically it. So you would take this blasphemy, drag it here, and then you would just be able to go and look at the powers that you had. Not really add any of the powers onto your sheet, just look at which blasphemies you've had, the blasphemy powers, and you weren't even able to classify which blasphemy you're primarily under. So now we have it set to a different way. So on our new thing, you'll see that you'll have blasphemy data. And if you drag over vector, for example, it will then create this section for you. And what is this section? First, it will list off your passive. And if I click on this passive, I can then very quickly see what this passive says. I automatically remove velocity. And for the powers, I can now quickly look through each of the powers. So I can look at all 5 of them and then add them to the sheet. So this was a large change from our old way of doing the sin. So as you can see, our sin overflow page has changed a lot actually. For the sin overflow, we now have it so that the check marks on the page we now have it that the check marks on the page are a lot more, stylized, and it looks a lot better. And now if you click on the roll sin button, it will actually automatically add your value and then tell you how much. So if I click roll sin here, it will add roll sin. I got 2 and it adds it, etc. And for the sin marks are a lot clearer now on how they work, and they're also set up for automation. So if I click roll sin marks, this one I actually rolled a 6, so I get to pick which sin mark I have. So I'll pick eyes. I choose eyes, and then I get to see the ability that I get. So ability 1, eyes. Clearly see it at extreme distance, and now you can actually evolve these sin marks. So if I click evolve, it will then evolve this and then give you a new sin mark in that category. For the old system, we actually had it set up a little differently. We had it so that when you rolled, they would only be in these like small text boxes and hard to read. So we tried to separate out the values here and make it more readable. Another main thing that we added into this that we are going to improve on and add on further for the update is going to be the homebrew menu. So how does this homebrew menu really work? So when you go to this create homebrew section, right now we have agendas and blasphemies. But for agendas, for example, I will just show you how it actually looks. So if I wanted to make my own agenda, I would go to this homebrew section, go to agenda, type in a bunch of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I could fill all of these out for the type of agenda I want to make and then click create agenda. Then under agenda data, you will see that my folder is named something insane, but you'll see that it has the tasks already set here, the abilities already created, and the type thing. So then if I drag this onto my sheet, it will then add all these abilities. And the same thing goes for blasphemies on how it works. So that's most of the updates for what we changed in the v1.1.X update. We are going to further add more automation. We're going to further add more things to help with, ease of play, making it faster to get to skills and sheets so you guys can do more playing and less like having to navigate the sheet and stuff. If you have any questions, concerns, please go to my GitHub, diabetes/Cain on GitHub, and make sure to write an issue there if you have any issues with it. Thank you very much and have a good day.